So we are live with Tony Gonzalez from Scorpion Repel. And what city are you in?
We're in Chandler, Arizona. Our office is in Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay. I know a couple of guys that I'm talking to that I deal with on a regular basis. They're in Phoenix. So in relationship to Phoenix, how far is that?
It's not far. We're all in the surrounding areas of Phoenix.
Got it. Okay. Because I get a lot of questions from guys in Phoenix, mainly Phoenix, about scorpions. And I have no idea what to tell them because I don't know a darn thing about scorpions. I don't have them here in Florida. And the only solution that I ever see people give and what everybody is using is pyrethroids. And mostly Onslaught is the favorite pyrethroid. And they're telling me they're not getting it done. I mean, they're being honest. They're like, it isn't working. We're having to do so many things. I mean, there's guys going out with UV lights at night, finding scorpions, physically removing them. And other than that, I don't know a darn thing about scorpions. So let's talk about scorpions today. And let's talk about you, Tony. And I understand we were having a conversation before this, that you're an actual attorney.
I am.
And you're in a scorpion product that gets rid of scorpion. Talk to me about your story, man, because this is fascinating.
Yeah, no problem. So, my wife and I, we went to law school together. We both became attorneys, lived in Flagstaff for a while. I've done everything from contract law to business law. Right now, I'm involved in a lot of litigation, actually criminal litigation. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. Over the last few years, my wife wanted to move to Chandler because I have two older daughters that play soccer, and this is the best place to come and play soccer. So we moved here, and I still practice. In fact, I was in trial last week. I'm in Chandler. My office is in Flagstaff. I do travel a lot. Okay. But overall, it's been a great experience. And then, of course, I decided to jump into the scorpion prevention, I guess industries.
Okay. And how did that ever turn about? I mean, how did you go from being an attorney and getting into the scorpion business? How did that turn of event?
So about 2013, my co-founder, he's a buddy of mine that I grew up with. He had just purchased a home, and his home was infested with scorpions. Okay. He was finding upwards of 5 a day. Really couldn't take care of it. He had multiple companies come out to spray. They were still getting scorpions. He decided he wanted to seal his home. So he had a company come out and seal his home, still got scorpions. His wife wanted to move. They had a brand new baby. It was really scary. And at the time, he was going to say, he was trying to figure out the best way to resolve these issues because he knew that a scorpion is getting into the house sometime or some way. Right. A scorpion here in Arizona is called a bark scorpion, and it climbs vertically. Okay. So from the ground, it'll actually attach itself to the house and it'll crawl up and find a way inside. So he figured out a way to keep that from happening. Obviously, scorpions can't climb glass. So he created a product, which actually is a clear one-time application that you put around the base of your home. And when it dries hard and durable and almost like glass. And scorpions cannot attach themselves to this product. So during that time, he called me and he said, hey, help me with the intellectual property on this. And so I started doing some research for him, but I really didn't think I had scorpions. And I really was, kind of under the impression that people don't have scorpions here in Arizona. And it must have been a month later. And my son, who had just gotten out of the pool, he came inside, I gave him a towel and he got stung on his elbow. And he had actually gotten hit 3 times. And he started screaming. I knew it was a scorpion. It had to have been. I mean, it was such severe pain. Right. I shook the towel. I found the scorpion. Wow. He was rushed to the hospital by ambulance. He almost died. It was insane. So while I'm sitting in the hospital, I'm so frustrated. It was a horrible night. And about 5 a.m, I called my friend and I said, all right, I'm going to help you. I'm jumping in 100%. Let's get this done. And so, he has a full-time job also, just like I do. And we decided, let's just do it. And so in about 2000, we've been together probably about 5 years, but in 2018, we incorporated, we got our IP, and we've just been doing it ever since. And quite honestly, it's taken off recently.
Right. So how did he go from starting to develop this product? I mean, what was that process like for him? And what did he do? I mean,
So he knew that if he could put something around the base of his home that a scorpion cannot attach itself to, he's going to win.
Right.
Scorpions, they can't climb plastic, they can't climb glass, and other really hard, solid surfaces. And so he thought about multiple ways of doing it. But at the end of the day, he said, look, if I could actually put something on a house that will create that glass-like texture, he knew it would work. So he started trying different applications. He was contacting manufacturers. He was trying to get these applications, but nothing was working. You can't find something like this in your local home home improvement store. So then he ended up talking to an actual chemist, and the chemist worked with him, and he actually came up with this product. And what it is it's a solid it's clear application. It's really, really thick. It's hard to deal with. But once we get it on that base of your home, it dries hard and it dries clear. So it doesn't change the color of your home. And so he just figured it out. And there have been times when he and I want to see if there's anything else, because we applied for our IP, but we can't find anything else out there that can do what we do. I mean, we created this product. It works well. It's amazing, just because any sort of product that people think, well, I could find something like that, they really can't. Everything else penetrates. Everything else, it might still dry and it might sit up on top of the surface, but scorpions can attach themselves to that. That's why they can climb paint, And so we figured out that way, and it's just been amazing.
So for those of you who have no idea what you just said about IP, what is IP?
The intellectual property. So we own, obviously, the trade secrets. We obviously have a proprietary product itself. And then the process of putting it on your home and the purpose that it serves, that's what we protect ourselves. So we're the only ones actually in the world that can do this.
Right. So you've got a product. So you don't sell your product right now in the open market so somebody can come and apply it. In other words, this is a service that you provide, and you apply this to people's property. You're actually performing the service and the product, not just selling the product.
Exactly. So we have 3 products. They all do the same thing. It's basically creating that hard, durable surface, and they can all work on their own. We use 3 because they seem to work well together. One is called a milk, a honey, and we have a glass. Right. And it's same thing, clear product. Once you put it on, then you can build out that layer and create that glass texture as it dries. So we actually have tools to figure out how thick it needs to be. And, and that's just what's worked for us.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about the specific scorpion that you have in your area. And this is, in this case, you mentioned it's the bark scorpion. Talk to me about these habits that these guys have, like for people that are either professionals or homeowners, and they're thinking, I can probably do an exclusion job, or I can do this. How exactly do these guys behave? What's their mating? Where do they hide? That kind of thing. What's the biology there?
So as most people I'm sure listening know, scorpions have been around for 400 million years. I mean, these things, they can survive practically anything. But here in Arizona, we have multiple types of scorpions, but the one scorpion that seems to give everybody the most trouble is called a bark scorpion, an Arizona bark scorpion. Very thin to the ground. This thing, what it does is it comes from the ground. It doesn't jump, it doesn't fly, but it walks and it climbs. And they're just instinctively, they're climbers. And that's why you end up getting them in your home, because from the outside, what they do is they're trying to go in, like for instance, in the summer months, even in the spring, they're trying to go into cooler areas. So they'll come out and feed at night. And once they're done feeding, they want to go back into a place that's cool and more habitable for them. So that's how you get them in your house. They attach themselves to your house, they climb up, and they look for a way in, and then they're in your house. And sometimes they'll pop out in your house, and that's why you get exposure. There's like 98% of all scorpion stings happen inside of your home. But for this bark scorpion, the venom is the worst venom in Northern America. This venom, it's a neurotoxin. It really impacts people that get stung. Even an adult that gets stung, it's going to put them down. Most people that we've been around have been stung. they've all explained to us, look, I mean, maybe not enough to go to the hospital, but really put them down for a few days. Even my partner, he was stung and he was out for about a week. But for
Wow.
children and the elderly, if they get stung, it's really, really dangerous. And that's what happened to my son, Jackson.
Wow. And what is it that they feed on once they're inside a home? What are they looking for?
So they're looking for, I mean, usually here in Arizona, we have multiple types of insects, but they're looking for like crickets, for example. We've seen them when we've gone out to monitor them at night. We see them feeding on other things, beetles and spiders and other things like that.
Got it.
But the unique thing about them is they're so thin. And so these things, that's why whenever my partner sealed his house, it stops them. It really does. But you can't seal every single crack or crevice. And that's why he kept getting them, because these things can fit inside of the thickness of a credit card. And that's how they end up in your house. And, and then in the winter, like right now, as we're getting to colder temperatures, you would think that, maybe they're going to leave the house, but they're not. These particular types of insects are trying to go into your walls and they're trying to, essentially wait there for a good month or two. It's not called hibernation, but it's a short period where they're not going to be feeding, they're not going to be active, but they're going to be inside your walls because it's a little bit warmer now during the winter months, and that's where they want to be. In the summer, they'll typically be in your home, or they'll be in your cinder block walls all around. In Arizona, everybody has cinder block walls that are hollow. And Scorpion Repel even works on cinder block walls. If we can keep this scorpion off of your house, if we can keep this scorpion off of your walls, this scorpion is not going to have anywhere to go, and it's just going to move on because they need a habitat. They need a place to go when it's hot. They need a place to go when it's cold.
Right. So I was looking at your video that you have online about how it's applied, and it looks literally like glass around on the concrete. And I saw how the scorpions would climb up to the brick, and then there's that piece of glass layer, and then they're trying to climb and they just can't. It's almost like bed bugs on a surface where we use monitors, where they can't basically cling themselves to. They needed some type of texture to be able to adhere themselves and then climb up. And so this is basically, it's I saw you using almost like a paint gun, like a car paint gun, to paint a strip around the property, right, to where the product then goes. And then so it's basically at ground level where they usually are, and they're trying to climb up from ground level, and get up somewhere wherever they can find. You said it's like the size of a credit card. I mean, this is much, much harder to do for those guys that are pros when we're doing exclusion for roaches. I mean, roaches are, about that thick. And it's, I mean, we're talking something that's way thinner. So even if you have maybe a seal, if it's just not perfect and closed completely, it's not going to happen to control the scorpion. So that's how this is done. Let's go back, because there's a lot of guys that are thinking, let's help them out. They're thinking, hey, I want to launch a product. I want to go into since you're an attorney, and they want to launch a product. What's this process like? Like when you decide from start to finish to you got a product and you're doing the IP, the intellectual property stuff, and what's that process for somebody to do something like that?
Well, I'll share my experience. And of course, I've counseled people in these areas, but you come up with your invention, you come up with your idea, and then you got to protect it right away. And so that's why what most people do, they'll come up with some idea and then they start sharing it with everybody. And usually they'll just get talked out of it. They'll say, that's not going to work.
Right.
But if you're really serious about it, once you come up with your idea, you apply for what's called a provisional patent.
Okay.
And it only costs a couple $100, few $100, and you could even do it yourself. We use, just because I'm an attorney, we used an attorney to help us get that done. And that'll give you a good solid year to really go and do your testing, to do your samples, to fix your product, or if it's whatever your product is, it's to really just mold it and make sure that it works well and test it. Once you've gotten to the point where it works and you believe it works, then you'll apply for your actual patent with the U.S. Trade and Patent Office. You fill it out. It's a little more extensive. We use an attorney, but obviously they fill it out. They do their research first just to make sure there's nothing else out there. but then you get to submit your application. Takes a while before it'll actually be reviewed. And then if there are issues, or they say, well, I don't think this works, or maybe there's an issue here that's similar to someone else. Well, then you can get the product back and then you can make changes to it. Then you resubmit. And sometimes people are lucky, they get in right away. But sometimes people have to go through that process a few more times. But you're still protecting your product, so that if somebody were to see your product and go, well, I can do that, and then they start doing it, they start making money off of it, then you get to give them a warning letter. You get to tell them, hey, this is what we're doing. If you want to take a look at what we are doing and why it's similar to what you're doing, we can share that with you. You could look at our application, but ultimately that's our design. Right. And if it continues to happen, if they continue to use it, then ultimately you put them on warning that once you get your patent, you can go back and sue them for damages. Any dollar that they made off of that sale, you can go back and collect. That's why even those homeowners, if it were in the pest industry, for example, if this person who was competing with your protected rights was essentially selling it to consumers and to the public, those people could even be exposed, because those people would be subject to depositions, subpoenas, and that's why you really want to protect your idea, and it's important to do that because as we were designing this, multiple people would come up to us and say, wow, that's a great idea. I thought of something like that, but I didn't do anything about it. You have to do something about it, especially in this industry. And so I encourage people, if you have a design, do it. It's like create it and then go protect it and then work on it. And that's what we did. That's why it took such a long time. We started in 2013 and we weren't even selling until 2018. And so It took a long time just to get there. But ultimately, that's what we're doing. We know that it's not necessarily that we're protecting it because we don't want anyone else to benefit. In our business, we do. I mean, this is a physical barrier that we've created to help the pest control industry. And so right now, like we've been selling to homeowners. We have call centers we actually have put together. Have marketing, we have branding, and we've done television commercials. We've been on the news just to talk about our product. So we're out there. But what we're starting to realize is that we're the guys that have the expertise in the product. Like we know everything about that product. Right. And we apply that product. We know how it works. We know how to apply it. We know the thickness. We know everything about it. And so now we're kind of leaning towards a different model. And right now, we don't want to sell it anymore. Right now, we don't want to sell to the public. We don't want to sell it in Home Depot. We don't want to sell it anywhere. What we want is the pest control industry to start using it. So we want to form partnerships with the pest control industry so that they can offer it to their current clients and future clients. And then once they do that, then they'll actually work with us. We'll get out there, we'll do it. And then that way we're not circumventing them to get to their clients, because that's what's been happening. We're going to trade shows. We're doing different, like I said, different television, whether it be a series or of like we did a series on what's called Sonoran Living. And then we had one time the news station did a story about us. And in those cases, they're calling us, they're flooding us with calls, but we want everybody else to benefit. We'd rather have them bring those clients to us and let us do the work, and then they'll get paid off of it. And then we also have residuals that they'll also earn as we continue to have this application and this relationship with their clients. But we don't want them to think that we're competitors. We're just offering that physical barrier, that tool that's going to really help them in their scorpion prevention. And then there are things that we do as part of our product that helps the pest control industry. And I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. But
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
What happens is when we put this application up, we do it specifically for scorpions.
Right.
But we've also tested it on other insects and it works. And so for us, we know that if a pest control company can use our product, they essentially contact us. First we have a partnership, and then we go out there, we do the work. It's going to help them because when they go service a home, if there's an exposure inside the home, they're not going to call them. They're going to call us, and we're going to get out there and we're going to try to figure out how that scorpion got in with our application. And then the other thing that it does is whenever you service a home, you can actually service the outside base of your home, right? With scorpions, they're so thin and their skeleton, their exoskeleton is so thick, they just tippy toe right over that pesticide. So people like to apply it around the base of their home, but they're just going to tippy toe over it and end up on your house. But what we do is now you can actually use the pesticide around your house. And when a scorpion goes to your house to attach itself, it's not going to be able to do that. And it's going to walk along the base of your home trying to get up before it leaves. So it's going to spend a considerable amount of time in that pesticide. So it's going to make the pesticide more effective. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have that contact. Absolutely.
Got it. So yeah, that's an interesting point. Let me ask you this, because I'm immediately thinking, my mind is running when you're talking about other insects. I'm also thinking about rodents. Rodents. I've seen rodents climb up to textured walls, but not really through smooth walls, right. and climb up to people's roofs. Have you done any work on that where you've experienced anything with rodents not being able to get up on your roof, especially with roof rats and things like that, or anything you're working on that?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. And I can tell you, we've actually experienced rodents, we've experienced other types of insects that just can't do it. And so we're in the middle of testing right now.
Interesting.
It's just not something that we can actually jump into right away, right, because we're really focused on scorpions.
Yeah. So in this model that you're looking at for partnering with pest control companies, since it requires, I guess, a lot of training to make the application, are you looking at providing, what's the market like for this product? I mean, outside of your area, what's the market like right now from your market research?
So what we found is that the Phoenix market is huge. Anywhere along the Phoenix area, Maricopa County is the county, and people that actually would have scorpions, you're dealing with 1.87 million people, if not even more, here in this area. And right. So of those, a large percentage of those use pest control. A large percentage of those use pest control for scorpions. And then there are people that don't have pest control, but if there was a product out there that could keep scorpions out of their house, they're going to use it. Our big issue is trying to get our product to the public, because when we advertise, if we're advertising amongst a pest control company, or if someone says on Facebook, for example, oh, I found a scorpion, and we tell them, this scorpion was, they tell us the scorpion was inside, and they're trying to figure out ways for them to get rid of scorpions. We say, look at Scorpion Repel, just like everyone will mention their local pest guy, but right. But ultimately they don't. We can't really explain to them why we're different, and that's part of the reason why we're moving to the pest control as partnerships with pest control, because we want them to be able to explain it to their clients. We also know that we want to sell it in conjunction. We know that we use pest control at our home because the application will keep scorpions off your home, but it's not going to exterminate them. And if you don't want scorpions in your home, you want to treat the yard. And now that we're treating the cinder block walls, now the scorpions are not able to get on your home. They're not able to get on your cinder block walls. And eventually they're just going to leave. And ultimately, that's the whole thing. That's the whole idea of scorpion control, because you can't get rid of scorpions. 400 million years, you can do everything you want to them, and they're still gonna be around.
Right. So and what about outside that market that you're in Phoenix? Like, what are scorpions like? Have you done research like in other states where scorpion is a problem? Like, where do you see in other states that scorpion seems to be a problem also? Like I said, I don't have them down here. I mean, I've seen a scorpion once, but they really don't do anything. I've seen one in my entire pest control life. But what are we looking at? Is it California? Are we looking at Texas? Or is it just mainly the Arizona area that scorpions are a problem?
No. So, and again, I apologize for not answering that, but yeah, we're looking at Texas. We get calls from Texas every single week. We don't even advertise in Texas, but we get calls every single week. Las Vegas, we get calls every single week. Mesquite, just outside of Vegas, the same thing. They're all finding scorpions and nothing's working. So we do have, as part of our business model, is to expand within the next few months into those markets. You also have California and you have New Mexico. And those are areas that are hotbeds for scorpions as well. We get calls from those areas as well.
Got it.
Now, we've had calls from people from Arkansas. We've had calls from people from other states, Utah. And so we know that the reach of our product can go a lot farther than the southwestern part of the U.S.
Got it. And now, are you guys looking at for those that are maybe looking, if you guys can't service that area, are you looking at a franchise model for the product or something similar to that?
Well, right now we're not. Right now,
Okay.
The model that we believe works is to have us. We're the experts. We can put the application on.
Got it.
And we understand how the application works. And so that's why it's hard to sell it, and it's also hard to do it. And so we just want to do the work. And so we want other pest control companies to sell it. So as we move into other markets, like for instance, Las Vegas, we're going to work with pest control companies to sell it. And then we're going to be there prepared. We have our infrastructure and we'll be able to do the application. Yep.
Got it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at getting into several different lines of businesses now here, like encapsulation and selling encapsulation. I don't want to be in an encapsulation business. Right. I just want to sell it. I'm looking at doing attic restoration, but I don't want to invest $100,000 in training and equipment to do it. It's much easier for me to subcontract. So we're looking at subcontracting a lot of the businesses that we do. Like right now, we just refer it out. We don't even subcontract. We refer it out for termite. We don't have a termite license, so we don't do it. Right. So these kind of the partnerships that I'm building now, which makes sense to me, if you've got an expert to sell that service. And do you have an idea roughly what a service like this costs to perform? What's the average cost?
Well, let me answer the first part of your question.
Okay.
So with our product, the reason why we're not doing franchises yet is because we're not prepared to go and actually, even though we have a model, we have a system that we've created. Right. One model was we were going to do licensing. So we have licensed to a really big company out of Phoenix. Uh-huh. And when you license, you essentially give them the product, you give them instructions, and you kind of just help them out. Right. And then they're on their own. Right. But it's really hard to do because you're selling it and you're doing the work, and we're experts at doing the work. So for them, they're trying as much as they can, but ultimately for them to be really successful is for them to just push it to us and let us do the work. Now we have investment opportunities. Absolutely. For us, there are so many homes in Arizona. There are so many townhomes, condominiums, apartment complexes, and I haven't even talked about commercial buildings. Right. So for us, we are looking for investment opportunities because we want to expand. Now, of course, if we had the fleet of every pest control company here in Arizona, we still wouldn't even be able to touch, I would say, 30% of the state. If we had everyone's fleet, we couldn't do it. And so we know that in order for us to accomplish that, we have to grow. And it's part of growing is reaching out to people like you, reaching out to people in the industry and bringing them in as investors and helping us grow this business. And so that's also part of our business model. We can talk to people about giving them licenses and letting them just do the work. We'll give them the product. We'll teach them how to do it, and they're on their own. And then we take back a royalty. That's how the licensing would work. And but again, we want them to be successful, but we also want to scale quickly because, when my son was stung, he was stung like several years ago, and we're still frightened by scorpions. We're still scared. And we still are as a family, it was shocking what happened to him. Right. So we want to get this on every home as quickly as possible. But to do that, we just need help. And so, yes, we are looking for growth models, investment models to help us get there. Now, to answer your next question, we bill by the linear foot. And so at first we were able to take a look at your footprint. If you tell me I have a 2,500 square foot home, then we're going to look and I'm going to say, oh, well, yeah, it's 2,500, but it's 2-story. We're only applying it to the base of your home. So if you have pillars that touch the ground, we're applying it. Inside of your garage, into the walkway, into your house, we're applying it outside so that if you do happen to get a scorpion in your garage, they're not going to go up into your door. through your door, through your door area of your garage, just like your front door. We treat those areas as well. They can't get up into your front door. And but it all depends on the size of the home. We figure linear foot has always worked well. Our average price is anywhere between $750 and $1,000. But to seal your home is upwards of like $3,000, if not more. And so for us, and we're not trying to take away business from the seal company. I mean, if it works, stick to it. But for us, we're just offering this to people that can't afford to pay the $3,000, but also to people that just want to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, I've had. It's not that much because you're looking at it's maybe a little bit more than a year's worth of pest control.
Absolutely.
On an average market. So yeah, no, it's really reasonable. I mean, I like it. I agree with you. When you got an idea like this, you got to be able to go. Speed matters. Speed to market. Getting it into people's hands, getting it done, getting it marketed. I know a lot of companies that are trying to do exclusion work and then all of a sudden they need a separate truck. They need a separate technician specialized for it. You can't train all of your technicians to do it. It doesn't work. It's a nightmare. So when you have a specialty product, I've learned is like, I'm testing the exclusion market again, because we're getting more into it. But then now I realize I really need a dedicated vehicle with a dedicated technician just to do exclusion work for rodent problems that we have here. I can't have all of my guys be exclusion experts. It doesn't work. And then we've noticed the same thing with animal control. So I think it's a phenomenal idea, first of all. Second of all, that yes, if you can sell it directly to the pest control industry as an add-on service that they subcontract out, it's a brilliant idea that will give you the growth because it's not a product that you can sell in all 50 states. All 50 states don't have scorpion problems unless you find another application where, hey, this works great for rodents and we're doing rodent applications. That would be phenomenal for, hey, does it help with climbing animals like ground squirrels? I mean, we have problems with ground squirrels. So I think it would probably be a good idea for the people listening to say, hey man, I've got ground squirrels. I like to test it. And test it because that's how I do things. I just mess around and I test stuff and it's like, hey, I found this stuff works. It's not intended for this, but it works great for it. And you're able to solve another problem. So phenomenal. Right now, how many techs do you guys have doing this? Because I saw your videos. You got a couple of techs there in the area. I saw the videos. What are you looking at as far as technicians that you have right now?
Let me go back to one of the last questions. So with our company, of course, our average price is, like I said, between $750 and $1,000. But it really depends. And for us, we want our partners to charge what they want to. And that way they know they're getting value because they have to make up the value that they're from not doing additional treatments, from maybe sealing homes. We want them to make up the value there. So that's part of it. And then the other thing is we tell them, look, if you keep the scorpion off the home, you don't have to worry about finding a way in. So you can seal your home, but if you keep it off your home, then you don't have to seal your home. And there's so many issues with sealing your home, especially now during COVID. You want your home to breathe. And of course, that's what we're trying to accomplish. But when we decide to license the product, or when we were going down that route, what we found is you have to build crew by crew. And yes, you're right. You can't use the same crew to do the work. You have that's doing, for instance, applying pest control out on the field. You have to get a group that's specifically trained to do this. And it's hard, whereas if a company works with us, then they don't need 10 trucks, 20 guys, because it really takes 2 guys for every single crew. And they don't need to have 10 trucks. Now we can do it. But as far as us, we have access to so many people that we've trained and that are working with us that we can handle. Right now, we can handle any single amount of clients. And we want to push for as many clients as we can, especially now during the winter months, because we know that by the time it gets to summer, everybody's going to be, they're going to be prepared. They're going to actually have something that's on their home and that's working, and they're not having issues with scorpions. The other thing that we do with our, as part of our charging is we do what's called a reoccurring fee. But what that does is that allows us to go out to their home once a year and do an inspection and actually go and reapply the application in areas that might need it. And then essentially give the homeowner peace of mind. But as long as they're in that program, we give them a certificate and they can pass that along to future homeowners. But as long as they're in that program and they're making an annual fee and we're coming out there, if they repaint their house, we're not charging them any more money. Just the $150 that we're charging every single month, we're still going out there and we're doing the work. So if they repaint their house, we're just going to redo it. So for us, we want them to be a customer for life. And then when they're working with pest control and that company has referred this client to us, then we're encouraging them to stay with this company. Pest control works with our product. Pest control works with our tool. And so that's another way for us to solidify their relationship with their client. So the client knows that both of us are working together for the same cause. And that encourages, obviously, our partners, pest control, to also benefit from this residual that we're receiving. We're giving a portion of that residual to them. And then they have this annual revenue from this person outside of what they're charging for pest control forever.
Yeah, right.
Because they continue in that program.
Yeah, because if it's a product that lasts 10 years and a guy says, geez, I'm never going to make any more money on Scorpion. I mean, it's a catch-22 where you eradicate something that you no longer make money on it. But yeah, obviously the product, the landscaper might chip it, walking around the property, it could not adhere. I mean, I get it. It's inherent problems with any product that you have to inspect it, maintain it, because it could crack. It could, over 5-6 years, you could have, a major void in an area that you didn't realize, and they're getting through there. So yeah, that's brilliant. I love the idea, man. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you about Scorpion and your Repel product that I should have?
So, okay. And my dad was a cabinet maker, and we always had the worst cabinets at our home, right? Because we're doing really good work everywhere else and we're not doing it here. So for us, like at my house, like, even though I give instructions, you got to do this, you got to do that, I get lazy. And obviously I don't maintain the application. I make sure that you're supposed to make sure that the rocks are still pulled up away from that application. Don't push anything up to the wall. And then, you keep mud off of it, and then it works forever. So for me, I'm that guy, right? So then I have to tell the crew, hey, can you come by at least once? This year they came by once and they did the inspection for me. And that's what actually, it works because they're doing the work for me. And that's part of our residual program.
Right.
With our product, we just want to impress upon people that it's a physical barrier that works. In the pest control industry, you need to use as many physical barriers as possible that will benefit you, and especially reduce the amount of application that you need to put on that home. Right. And so we're not trying to take away business from anyone, but we're trying to make their job easier. If we have a partner that gives us a referral, we go out there, we apply our application all around the home, we make it work. It stays there. It dries hard like glass, lasts forever. And then they go out there and they're providing their pest control service. They're going to work well together. They're going to complement each other. And that's what we want. We just want people to understand that. So we're not going to discourage people from engaging with a pest control industry. In fact, even now, if we have people that call us right now that do not have pest control, we just send them to our partners and we say, look, yes, this works, right? This works, and you'll keep them out of your house. But you don't solve that. You don't solve the problem with scorpions. You're still going to have them on your in your yard. So then we encourage them to get their cinder block wall sealed by us. But then ultimately, they still got to work with pest control, because they got to eliminate what's in your yard and any potential scorpion that could end up in your house and bypass the physical barrier. And that's obviously, we just want to prevent that from happening. Right. But with us, we just want to encourage them to not have to go back and do retreats, not have to use a ton of product. And then they get to maintain that relationship with that client, and there's trust. When my partner had scorpions in his home and he went out and he had a company come and spray his house, when it didn't work, he just called somebody else. We don't want that to happen. Now that I'm learning about this industry, and I ask a ton of questions. And if anyone's listening that I've called, I'm sorry, but I call everybody to ask them questions. But in this particular industry, maintaining a client is essential. Right. I'm in the law field. I have my own law firm. I have clients that they might have used me for a home sale 10 years ago. and they're still calling me because that relationship matters. I wouldn't want someone else stepping in and saying, oh, I'm going to take away Tony's client, because you do all the work to get the client. You do the marketing, you do the branding, you do the customer service, you do everything you can to get that client. But then once that client decides to go somewhere else, then you just lost that client. And in this industry, what I've learned is everybody's kind of accepted the fact that they're going to lose clients. And I don't think that's right. I want them to keep all their clients. Right. And so for us, like in working with pest control, we want them to understand that we're going to work together. We're going to make their job easier, and they're going to get to keep that client. And we're going to do everything we can to preserve that relationship.
Right. No, it's integrated scorpion management. I mean, that's the whole idea of integration and solving certain problems to where I'm fanatical. The reason I want you guys on, and I wanted you guys on when we first talked was because I am fanatical about pesticide reduction in the
right.
home. Outside, I realize we can't not use it because the pests pressures are there. They're always there.
Right.
My fanaticism is improving the air quality in the home to where we don't have to apply a pesticide unnecessarily. And if we do, it's targeted and it's in the lowest toxicity form, like a bait or something like that. Unfortunately, there are no baits that I know of for scorpions. There's only really pyrethroids that people use, or people going in and hunting for them and removing them. I am fanatical about that type of business. And there's more and more companies, because I'm talking to them in the Phoenix area, in Arizona, where are going to the eco-friendly IPM model. So this is a perfect match. This would be a perfect match for me, for a company that says, hey, we don't want to service the inside of the home. We don't. We 95% of our clients, we never service the inside of the home except for the initial service to get rid of the problem. And then we maintain it all outside, because most of all the pests are paradomestic. They're going to come in. And we focus on the outdoor prevention, the exclusion, the sealing, getting all that done so we don't have to put a product in the client's home. And I think that is the major selling point of what you guys have, is that you have a product that once you do it, it's not a constant problem in the home. Sure, the company is still going to have to do the preventive maintenance outside, whether it's quarterly, bi-monthly, whatever it is that they do, because you're not going to stop a scorpion from running across a pool. A deck. You can't spray the deck with your product. People slip and break their neck. You're basically focused on the interior of the home. And I think it's a great add-on service for any company that really cares about the client. It's customer centric versus, just being sensitive about, whether they're going to lose any business or not. If you're customer centric, you'll always make it up in referral. You will always make it up in some type of value that you're creating for that client. So I'm super excited about this product, because I get so many questions and I have no idea what to answer on those when it comes to this. And I think it's it's part of a long-term strategy for the homeowner and the pest control company. So I think it's brilliant, man.
Let me say two more things on that one.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. With these pest control companies, what they do is they'll use their application and they do it in a way that's unique, all of them. And it does have some impact, and I appreciate that. But the scorpion still gets inside. And we're not trying to take away the business from the seal companies. They can still seal homes, but we're just telling them, work with us. You'll keep the scorpion off the home. So if you go through and you seal the home, it's even going to work better.
Yeah,
right.
Integrated with your sealing. Sell it as an add-on. I mean, Phoenix is a very affluent area. There are people from all over the world coming to Phoenix. You've got anywhere from software guys to it's a very, very growing and expanding market, to where the money's there and the people will buy it because they have the money to buy it. And that's the clientele that I focus on. The wealthy, affluent client who says, I want the sealing, I want the exclusion, I want the add-ons, because I don't want the pesticide in my home. That's my client. That's what they look for. And so they do have the Bentleys in the driveway. They buy the Rolexes. Money isn't an object. They want the product. And even then at the price you guys are selling at, which is phenomenal. I tell you, man, what you guys are selling that for is what I charge for a year pest control. Yeah. I mean, really, that's what my average client spends between $750 and $1,200 a year with me for pest control. So it's not outrageous. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is so much money. No, and for the peace of mind that your kid isn't going to get stung or your family isn't going to get stung, there's just no comparison to that, man. So,
and these pest control guys, like if they use us, they work with us, they're making money. It's not like, we've looked at different models, like selling, pigeon, like referring people for pigeons, for example. Like we actually want the partnership where they're going to make almost in almost every case more profit than we're going to make on that application. So when they're bringing in a client, all they're doing is just arranging it. We're doing all the work.
It's a sale.
We're getting it on, and they're making even more than us. So for us, we think it's a win-win.
Oh, absolutely. I have no question about that. Yeah. And the idea that you can sell it and just have somebody else do it. Like right now, I just refer it to my buddies. I got two buddies that one specializes in tenting and one specializes in non-tent termite service. And I basically refer it to them. And I don't have to do any of the work. I get a commission that they pay me for the referral. And when they sell it, and that's it. And I don't even worry about it. And I got two specialists that I don't have to have on staff, that I don't have to have equipment, that I don't have to have anything. That's how we deal with it. So it works. It's figuring it out in your market, what you have to do. Anything you want to, how do people get a hold of you, by the way? How do they contact you?
So the best way to get a hold of us is to take a look at our website, www.scorpionrepel.com.
Okay.
Or if you Google Scorpion Repel, you could also take a look at our Facebook account. Our website is pretty awesome because it gives you the demo. It shows you exactly how it works. It really shows like really a lot of our videos. I think it has most of them. YouTube, if you Google Scorpion Repel, or even right now, if you just put in Scorpion, you're going to see our videos. And that's the best way too, because we want people to see how it works. And when they see it, they're usually sold. I mean, we go to trade shows and we just show them how it works. And it's simple. They agree. They know that it works.
Yeah.
Those are the best ways to to try to get a hold of us. And we even have a partner page on our website for pest control companies that want to partner with us. They can go on the site and actually get everything set up.
Sweet deal. I appreciate you being on, man, and best of luck to you. And I'll keep looking at what you guys are doing and expanding.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. I love your show. Now, because I am a lawyer, I love to read. I love to listen to things. And so I'm obsessed with going through and listening to all the podcasts. My kids, even when I get into a car, that's what I put on. They fall asleep. But for me, I love it. You guys you guys are just pretty awesome. And I love learning new things. So thank you.
I appreciate you being on and being so generous, and best of luck to you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.